morning, everybody, and it's Pamela Steele, and it's block number 8, and January the 13th, and that's on a Wednesday, and it's raining. And the good thing about it raining is that there are hardly any people on my promenade. Well, not my promenade, Brighton Hove promenade. And there has been thousands upon thousands of people walking along that promenade as if it's a bank holiday or something. And what really gets me is that nobody or hardly anybody is actually wearing a mask. Now, that's crazy as far as I'm concerned. With this particularly virulent form of COVID, this new strain, which is incredibly contagious, why wouldn't we all be wearing masks out? Nobody wants to catch it. And, so my thing for today is wear your mask, particularly when you're in shops. I've heard that a lot of people aren't wearing them in shops, when you're going to do click and collect, when you're going into pharmacies, banks, anywhere really. Just keep wearing your mask, and particularly outside, because I don't want to get it. I wear my mask. I've got through the whole of 2020 without getting it by being careful, and now I'm being even more careful. I've got a few more months before I can get my vaccine. So hopefully in the next month or so, the prevalence of this new strain may start reducing. So until then, just saying it again, wear your mask just for the next month or so. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was I've started a new Facebook page. Yep, a new Facebook page. I thought to myself, you know what, instead of feeling a bit sorry for myself for being home alone, then why not start a new Facebook page called Home Alone in Lockdown. And it's for fun, it's to share our thoughts, either about being alone, our feelings, our emotions, or just, having lots of fun and putting silly videos and memes and all sorts of things, or any of your experiences that just might amuse us, or maybe suggesting things that us singles, us people alone, could do with our time, so that we could have fresh ideas, whether it's new movies, new things on Netflix, new things on TV, new books to read, those or just exciting hobbies or anything like that. So anything, but please, it's called Home Alone in Lockdown. Have a look at it and share as much as you can. That's that. And now we're going to come back to the more serious subject of the book that I'm writing based on the 2011 Lived, Loved, Laughed. And I was talking about sudden deaths, suicides, terrorist attacks. And thank goodness, fingers crossed, there have been less of these over the last 10 years. So whether the police have got the hang of being able to stop these things, I don't know. But and then suddenly 2020 came along, and we had the shock of finding out that we were involved in the world pandemic through the spread of COVID-19, and now this particularly new strain. So, we all shared that fear of catching it, and fear maybe of ultimate death. Thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people have gone on to catch it and experienced the horrible symptoms that it presents. Many, fortunately, have survived, but also many haven't, particularly the elderly and the medically vulnerable. Again, just a quick update on my dad's nursing home. There are now 15 people who've got COVID, and 21 staff, I believe, that are having to isolate because of it. So that is such a shame, because they were, so clear of it for the whole of the lockdown, which I think shows you the extent to which this new strain is getting through. Those who have survived, thank goodness, are now experiencing these symptoms of what we call long COVID, which is extreme tiredness, shortness of breath, chest pains, or tightness of of the chest, heart palpitations, dizziness, and pins and needles. To me, it seems like these symptoms actually are probably a combination of post-trauma and of the COVID itself. A friend I know, Beth, who is just 34, suffered from COVID in March last year and was quite ill for 3 weeks, although thankfully she didn't have to go to hospital. She is a very fit person and a healthy young lady, but she has since suffered many of the symptoms of long COVID ever since. She used to be running most days, and now she finds herself that she's breathless in just a short distance. She does suffer tiredness and problems with her concentration. And for a young woman, that's quite devastating. So even the healthiest and the youngest of all can get it, can recover, but maybe can get these symptoms of long COVID. So, as I said, we've all been subject to lockdowns in 2020 and now in 2021 and tier limitations which have restricted our normal behaviour. So in this latest version of my book, which I am updating and then uploading onto my website, crisisadvice.co.uk, it's going to be called COVID and the Secrets to No Regrets Living. I'm going to intertwine, as I've said before, COVID experiences with those experiences of trauma from my clients, whose obviously names have been changed. Then, whilst briefly being awakened to the precarious existence of our lives and hearing those tragic stories, I take my readers on hopefully a psychological, philosophical and biological and spiritual journey from being strangers to yourselves, to knowing yourself better, and knowing what you really do want in life. So knowing who we are, who we want to be, and how we might aim for this, how we can seek lasting, positive, loving relationships, how we can become truly happy from within in the way that we want, how our body works so that we can get the most out of these fragile bones, blood, muscles, and water, and of course our brain. How we can escape our own hell in terms of maybe the personalities that we've developed and the lifestyles that we've created. How we can adhere to a faith either in ourselves or in others, and how we can ensure that our goals and actions will happen. Finally, how we can further our happiness and enlightenment through helping others. Now, these in some ways are similar and will cross over to the book that I was doing on resilience. And that's because when I found out that the sort of things, the sort of what we call the deathbed regrets that people thought about after they'd experienced trauma, it turned out that they were very similar to the sorts of factors that were involved in building resilience. So there is a crossover point, and I hope that when we go on to chapter 1, this is just the mere introduction, go on to chapter 1, that you'll enjoy that in the process. And that's all today, and have a lovely day, and speak to you all tomorrow. Bye.